Hello everyone, my name's Brian, and we are back to a deck that's fun to play, can do some really cool things, not the best at winning, but if you guys want to see a slightly off-the-wall deck, stick around, let me run you through. So this is Modern Ninjas. It started its life as a saffron olive budget deck that I then took and evolved with the times, and now that Kamigawa has come out, I've come back to it because we have a new toy. So the deck's been a little tweaked from last time, so why don't I walk you through it. The whole idea of this deck is to take your unblockable 1-drops, whether that's Slitherblade, Changeling Outcast, or an Evasive Fairy Seer, and turn it into a better creature, whether that be the new Moon Circuit Hacker, Ninja of the Deep Hours, or Ingenious Infiltrator, and our finisher, Fallen Shinobi. So very, very simple deck, but let's go ahead and break it down. So 4 Fairy Seer, 3 Slitherblade, 4 Changeling Outcast. You want at least one of these in your opening hand. More than likely you want Fairy Seer, because then you can choose your next cards and then turn it into a bigger ninja. Let's go ahead and go over the ninjas next. That makes the most sense. We have Moon Circuit Hacker, which is the new toy. So it's kind of like Ninja of the Deep Hours, but because it's cheaper, it's really a better Ninja of the Deep Hours, even though it's looting as opposed to drawing cards after the first hit. Most ninjas really only get one hit in anyway, so the fact that this is a Ninja of the Deep Hours on the first hit is great. And if you start looting, you're just getting rid of cards that are either dead or not helpful in the moment, trying to find that answer piece. 3 Ninja of the Deep Hours down from 4. Moon Circuit Hacker's just better in my opinion, but it's still important to have, the 14 ninjas that are in the deck to the 10 enablers that are in the deck. So Ninja of the Deep Hours, still a house. If you can hit with it a few times, you're probably winning the game. Ingenious Infiltrator, not only does this draw cards itself, but it also means when any other ninja, so that's Moon Circuit Hack and Ninja of the Deep Hours, Fallen Shinobi, and Changeling Outcast, make contact, they also draw cards, so this allows you to draw multiple cards. And finally, Fallen Shinobi, which lets you, and here's the fun part, steal cards from your opponent's library, counter spells with Drown in the Loch, 3 Inquisition of Kozilek, and 3 Thoughtseize, just to rip apart our opponent's hand so that we can do our plan without them being able to do their. 21 lands, which is just a mix of, fetches, basics, some watery graves, 1 Urborg for spiciness, and also it allows us to turn things like Mishra's Factory and islands into useful swamps. The Mishra's Factory, now some people might think I should be using Mutavault because it counts as a ninja when it makes contact for Ingenious Infiltrator, but here's the thing. Mishra's Factory actually blocks as a 3/3. It can tap itself after it blocks and kill things that are attacking with 2 power, like Ragavan. So Mishra's Factory right now is just so much more useful as a blocker than it necessarily is as another ninja to make contact with the opponent. And that's the main deck, pretty simple. Now, the thing about the sideboard, this is probably where the deck is failing me. I realize I'm the one who put it together, so that is indeed my fault, but still, if we run into the right decks and our sideboard is ready for them, I find that we win the game. But Modern is such a wide format that if you run into decks that I have nothing for in the sideboard, we're just going to get run over game 2 and game 3 if we even make it that far. But what's in the sideboard and why is it there? So 3 Spell Pierces to go up against things like Combo and Control. 2 Echoing Truths, just really good. Also, we're playing black and blue, so there's not a ton of enchantment and artifact interaction, so there you have it. 2 Cling to Dust, which is Graveyard Hate and or against things like Burn to just gain a little bit of life back repetitively. 2 Nile Spell Bombs, a little bit more Graveyard Hate. So this is for things like Dredge or Vengevine or things like that, where removing 1 is just not enough. Normally, these both go in whenever you have a graveyard match, but these are obviously slightly more efficient. If I don't play against Mill, this looks like a very bad idea. But every time I play against Mill, Emrakul shows up, and normally in Game 2, Game 3, they don't expect me to have it, so I tend to be able to steal a game that way. And finally, 2 Chalice of the Void to go up against things like Rhinos or other Cascade decks, the black one that puts all the creatures back into play. Its name is escaping me right now. And actually, it's also good against the Hell's Kitchen deck, the Asmia Chlorotina person, because she is actually a 0-drop as well. So good against that deck if you happen to run in it. And that is the deck, guys. Again, it's a very simple deck, and today, while we will be running this through a Modern League, I'm not here to try and go positive with this pile. I am here to play my own game, so keep count with me at home. I want to see how many cards we can draw with the ninjas and how many times we can hit with fallen shinobis and do something very silly with it. So let's go ahead and run through it. We're, of course, playing our own game this week. We're not necessarily trying to go positive in League, and let's see how it goes. See you there. All right, match 1 against Blink Moth Nexus. Bonus points if you're actually playing Infect. So let's see what we have here. We have 1 land, a whole bunch of ninjas, a Fairy Seer, and an Inquisition. So we lost the die roll, as you might expect if you watch any of my videos, but in a situation like this, we can keep. If they don't hand disrupt us and take away the Fairy Seer, we can actually set ourselves up to look at a whole bunch of cards. So we're going to draw 1 on our turn, then we're going to look at 2 with Fairy Seer, and then not only do we draw on turn 2, but we'll Moon Circuit Hacker into another card. And it's hammer time. Well, folks. Oh, wait, is it not hammer time? Is it like a bridge thing? This might actually be something else with the welding jar. Unless they are just running welding jar now and hammer time, which I wouldn't be surprised. Well, okay, so push might not be helpful. Delta definitely is. Well, we can always shuffle it away if this turns out not to be hammer time. All right, our opponent untaps. Plays another Seachrome Coast. This is starting to look like Lantern. Oh, no. It's hammer time. They just didn't keep any creatures. Okay, so we'll go ahead and draw. I think the Fatal Push is kind of actually helpful because we can Moon Circuit Hacker, we can draw Fatal Push, and then we can replay the Fairy Seer. So let's do that. Let's go to blocks, and we'll just kind of pick up the Fairy Seer. We have Fatal Push now. Go get another Watery Grave because our mana values are actually pretty hungry in this. And we'll scry 2 more. A second Fatal Push and a Dark Slick Shore. So we'll do the same thing we did last time. We'll go top. We definitely want the land. Now, as far as the Fatal Push goes, we'll see. If our opponent just sits here and do nothing, we can get a pretty good... Oh, no, they have the Urza's Saga, which is great. We definitely want the Fatal Pushes now then. So play Dark Slick Shore, because we know what we're going to draw. Plus, I mean, you generally want to draw that anyway. Swing out, and we'll pick up Fairy Seer to play Ingenious Infiltrator. Yeah, that sounds right. Draw 3. Always try and put your Moon Circuit Hacker effects at the end so you can draw the cards and then choose out of all the ones you drew what you want to discard. There's the Fatal Push we know. Now it's all unknowns. Another Fairy Seer and a Misty. So we want to keep the Misty. We also want to keep up Fatal Push. So Ninja of the Deep Hours is probably the least important right now. We have to keep up Fatal Push for their... Oh, but they can regenerate it. Oh, dear. So what this means is we go to discard, because regenerating actually taps the creature, so we'll just let a Fairy Seer go. There's Memnite. So they're empty-handed at the moment. Put that on there. I guess we are keeping up pressure, so we'll go ahead and... I mean, if they want to regenerate that instead of a Karn token, that's probably better for us. Oh, okay, no, they're just going to let it go. So that means the Karn token is going to do a whole bunch of stuff. Now, here is the question. So we play out Misty Rainforest. We can hit them with Fallen Shinobi, draw 3 cards, but then we're out of mana and they get to hit us for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, we have to kill. We have to tap down the Saga token. So do we even attack? Because they're going to be able to eat whatever we swing them, which will probably be the Ingenious Infiltrator anyway. So I think we crack first. Just get an island. Play out the Fairy Seer and see if there's even anything on top of the deck we want to draw. Because at max, we're drawing 1 card. Drown in the Loch, Dark Slick Shore. So Dark Slick bottom, drowned top. So now we actually do kind of want to attack. Because they eat one of our creatures, we draw the second removal spell. Well, let's see who they block. Actually, if we Fatal Push now, if they regenerate it, it taps. And we're going to draw Drown in the Loch. So put Moon Circuit Hacker at the end. Draw Drown. Draw Thoughtseize, which is what's getting discarded by Thoughtseize. And now we drown the token. So they have to spend next turn making a token and finding something. Finding another welding jar, probably? Yeah. Oh, they're going to Thoughtcast instead of equip it, which is fine. Because we have a Fallen Shinobi that we can swing into them with and deal almost lethal. Because we can play Polluted Delta, check their hand, then swing... They block 1, they take 7, go to 1, unfortunately. Unless we can find some way of tapping their guy down now, which I don't think we have the ability to do. So I think first thing we do is we check their hand. So bye-bye Nettle Cyst. Then we play Delta, crack Delta, just get a Swamp, and they probably block Ingenious Infiltrator, which is fine. Then we Fallen Shinobi, the Fairy Seer. Moon Circuit Hacker at the end, Fallen Shinobi at the end. See what we draw. Another Fallen Shinobi, which is probably going to help us close out this game. A Darksteel Citadel and an Ornithopter. Ugh. Okay, well, that was not great. We found the Drown in the Loch, though, which is good for next turn, but for the right now, I think we just get rid of Slitherblade. All right. We get us a free Ornithopter. Look at us. And yeah, that's unfortunate, because that's all we got. So we put him to 1, which is real close to dead, but it's not dead. And now they can just equip Cranial Plating, equip Shadow Spear, gain a bunch of life, and we just have to really hit them hard again with Fallen Shinobi. Because they have to swing. It's kind of important at this point. Because worst thing that could happen is they have, Thought Cast into Thought Monitor, and just get a million artifacts down and just kill us now. Anakar wastes some sort of budget Hammer Time? Or is that just actually played in Hammer Time? Yep, so there's the first equip, and the second equip will double it. So it can deal a lot of damage, but luckily for us, we have a second Fallen Shinobi. No reason not to block. Ornithopter is doing us no favors. Ornithopter, by the way, is a legitimate thing to play in this ninja deck. You know, it costing 0 and being evasive is helpful just to get ninjas down. So attack, move to block, Fallen Shinobi, and that should close out game 1. All right. So, against a weird kind of Hammer Timey deck. Pithing Needle, yes. Echoing Truths, maybe. What's not good? Ninja of the Deep Hours is looking the weakest. Also, Fallen Shinobi is a question mark, even though Fallen Shinobi very much won us that game. The Thought Seizes and Inquisitions are also kind of sus. So, we're going to be on the draw. So we can probably nip a Thought Seize and not feel too bad about it, and we can get rid of a Ninja. Fallen Shinobi. I mean, they're going to gain so much life, I feel like Fallen Shinobi's almost kind of needed. So we can easily get rid of one other Ninja of the Deep Hours. And try it like that into game 2. Alright, our opponent will definitely choose to go first. So we have a whole bunch of little guys, and one removal spell, and a giant ninja. If this was any other ninja, like those ninjas of the Deep Hours we just sided out, that would be preferable. So we're going to throw that back. Okay. This doesn't interact at all, but it has the Changeling Outcasts into Ingenious Infiltrator to hopefully kind of start the big roll here. Our opponent has also Mold to 6. So yeah, if we can just get the Changeling Outcast down turn 1, Ingenious Infiltrator, draw the extra card turn 2. We'll also have drawn 2 cards in the meantime, hopefully to find some interaction. But after that, we'll be drawing cards because the Changeling Outcasts count as ninjas. So we're going to go ahead and keep. We'll probably put the... I was going to say put the Swamp back, but our hand's full of black stuff, so we'll put the Island back. Turn 1 Springleaf Drum, so probably a 0 drop. Yep. And then play a Shadow Spear? Yep. Okay. Well, at least we knew what they were doing. And draw Fatal Push. Aw. How come I'm only right some of the time? We'll just go get a Swamp. If they spend all next turn just putting a Shadow Spear on a Memnite, that's fine. Opponent untaps. Plays a Frogmite. Okay, so this is definitely just like hammery affinity budgety thing. So we still want to draw removal. That's not removal. But if we play Dark Slick Shores, we actually just want to play the Moon Circuit Hacker, because then we get to replay our 1-drop. And we draw the same number of cards. Please don't be a land. Why, deck? Why do you betray me so? Oh, man. At least this week, it's not like last week where we were running a deck that had, like, no lands in it. This one has quite a few lands. At least it makes a little bit more sense this week. Okay, so they have an Urza Saga, Nettle Cyst. Ugh, we need to find removal quick, because they're gonna really start, leaning into us. And if they just attach the Shadow Spear, they're gonna gain life faster than we can, get rid of it. Echoing Truth. Okay, that changes the plan. So we play Dark Slick Shore, and we just attack with Changeling Outcast, and then we just pass, because we need 2 mana to bounce the Phyrexian Germ token. And then next turn we get to... Ooh, we probably should have played Changeling Outcast, but I clicked OK too many times. So now, in case they force spike us, or, they could have Mana Tithe. They could, I'm playing around Mana Tithe. They're in a white deck. These are things you do when you're a very good Magic the Gathering player, or you just hit OK one too many times. Another Memnite. I wonder if we should bring in the Chalices to, like, stop 8 cards in their deck. So here come all the dorks, and we bounce the Germ token. And now do we block with Moon Circuit Hacker? I think we do. It's already hit. That's fine. I don't think we'll find a better trade against all these Memnites. Okay, so Polluted Delta, because dear God, stop drawing lands. Swing with this. Genius Infiltrator, and then we get to play two Changeling Outcasts, because we're so good at this game, guys. Fallen Shinobi. Okay, well, we know what we're doing next turn. Oopsie. I'm so bad at this game. I forgot there were only 2 swamps. And now if I want to play 2 Changeling Outcasts, I had to bolt myself against a deck that can do a lot of damage. Because it's going to just cast a large Urza's Saga token. I think I went ahead and punted this game through the field goal hoop. Because I think they could just kill us. I think if they just put the Nettle Cyst on the Construct token, we're dead. So if they see the line of just Nettle Cyst, yep, there we go. And that's the game. Oopsie, that's a punt. All right, so it's just like artifact stuff. Dampening Sphere, not really. Because they're going to vomit their hand out pretty quick. And if we put in Chalice of the Void, because we are on turn 1, we can stop like a whole bunch of cards in their deck, because they also have Welding Jar. So maybe if we can find some room for those. Echoing Truth was kind of helpful. I do think we can trim more Thought Seizes and just keep the Inquisitions. Because their deck really doesn't have high drop creatures. Or at least not high drop creatures we care about. They can have as many Mirror Enforcers and Fragments as they want. Oh, like we drew it up. So what we have here is a Chalice, 2 Moon Circuit Hackers, 1 land, a Slither Blade, and a Fatal Push. So this is great. Because we'll put down the Slither Blade, we'll start drawing extra cards with the Moon Circuit Hackers, and we'll put down Chalice on 0, which will stop them from using all those cards that allow them to vomit their hand down. Let's go ahead and play out Slither, and then just play this for 0. And hopefully they kept a hand of 0 drops. Oh, there's Signal Pest. Is this just Hardened Steel? I think that's what it used to be called. And we even found a Mishra's Factory. I think we still just do our original plan here, and hit them with Slither Blade. Haha, I fooled you. I was never a Slither Blade. I was Moon Circuit Hacker all along. Unfortunately, Mishra's Factory doesn't produce colored mana, so we can't play out another creature right now, but next turn we do get to do stuff with it. It looks like they must have kept a hand with a whole bunch of 0 drops because they kept Signal Pest. So they must have been expecting to go through pretty quick. There's the Urza Saga, which we can counter with our Echoing Truth. Are they even got a bother attack? I didn't think so. There's a Swamp. So we get to replay Slither Blade. Keep up. Do we need to keep it up? Because next turn they're probably going to make a token. So we can probably attack this turn. All right, what do we draw? An Inquisition. I don't think this is an Inquisition game. I'm glad we did not use an entire draw step doing that. So now they have Urza Saga on 2. So if they want to make a Construct token, or rather make 2 Construct tokens, they have to do it now. They do get to go tutor one of their many 0 drops out of their deck next turn with Urza Saga, but they didn't get to take... I mean, we're playing against Affinity. They have 5 cards stuck in their hand. Oof, more Urza Sagas. They just kind of run through it. I guess we do try and bait out the Urza's token. Because we attack with both, they make the Urza's token, we kill the Urza's token. We still have Echoing Truth to kill a second Urza's token. We draw 2 cards, discard 1. Now, here's another thing about Mitgo. It's going to do a thing where it's going to force me to do the draw discard before I get to do the straight draw. I don't know why. I don't know why I can't. Yeah, I don't know why I can't choose how to stack those. I think it's just a Mitgo thing. But let's go ahead and swing in. Yep, you're allowed to make a token. And I am allowed to make it go away. Goodbye. All right, so then we probably crack this now. Go get... Ooh, this is gonna... get Watery Grave. Tap Watery Grave, Moon Circuit Hacker, the Slither Blade. Yeah, see, I can't... So this one is going first. I can't change the order for some reason. So we have to draw and discard. Urborg. Urborg do anything. Do we even need Urborg? I think the creatures in the Echoing Truth is better, so we'll get rid of Urborg. And now we get to straight up draw. Dark Slick Shores. Well, remember how I wish I could have drawn the 2 cards and then discarded 1, which I would be allowed to do if I was doing this in paper, but here we are. All right, so they untap. They get to go get a 0 drop, and they also get to make another Karn token. Oh, they got Springleaf Drum. They must expect something because I left mana up. Yeah, so they're just going to make a guy. They found colored mana, which they're not using. Vault Scourge. That's not the worst. Opponent tapping and untapping. Shadow Spear. Wish I could do something about that, but I can't. So we bounce the token. Look at our blue Doomblade. We really hope to draw like a Fallen Shinobi. So that's why all those YouTubers keep saying this stuff out loud. Because if you say it out loud, it happens. All right. Again, this puts them to 1, not 0, but I think we've done the best we can. I don't think they'll block with Vault Scourge, is essentially what I'm also saying. So swing. They didn't block, so hello, Mr. Blowout. Put them to 1 again, which seems to be my favorite thing to do in these decks. Guess we'll deal with Fallen Shinobi first. Or, guess not. All right, so yes, I would love to draw. Fairy Seer. I guess we can get rid of a Moon Circuit Hacker. All right, and if we find a land off our opponent's deck that can make blue, we didn't. So we might as well get a land. And yeah. So they're going to gain some life next turn, but not enough to stay alive, I think. No reason to put the Welding Jar in the bin for them. We might as well leave that exiled. So the most they can do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a lot. Gaining 8 life is not a small amount. That might actually win them the game, unfortunately. Ninja Brute. Yeah. Oh, they have another one too. Gaining 8, that is brutal. What else you got? Oh, they're just going to gain even more than that. So unless we start top decking removal, this might be an unfortunate game. They're just going to swing out, though. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. Because honestly, that gives us the highest chance of drawing into answers. They go up to 11. What are the chances we find Fallen Shinobi again? Inquisition. No. 1, 2, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How am I always so close but so far? So we need to try and draw as many cards as possible, because we can put them to 9, or we could deal 9 right now. But then, like, Vault Scourge alone kills us. So swing up Mishra's Factory into Moon Circuit Hacker, and then hope we find removal. So if we're spending 2 mana on Mishra's Factory, and then before that we have to spend 1 mana on Fairy Seer, we have to leave it there, because then we have to try and find Drown in the Loch. So Fairy Seer, well, plus with Fairy Seer, we'll kind of know what we're drawing anyway. Nope, neither of these are what we're looking for. So what do we do now? I think we still swing up Mishra's Factory, and we swing with everything. See if Fallen Shinobi can find us an answer out of this. Frogmite Urza's Saga. Okay, yes. There's the Fallen Shinobi. So we will get rid of Inquisition because we're not casting that. Play out Urza's Saga. Play out Frogmite. Anything else we want to do? I guess we can play out Slitherblade, because we have Fairy Seer to block, Vault Scourge. Oh, if they just move the Shadow Spear, we're dead. Yeah, nothing we can do about that. So let's see if they see that. But we got them to 1 again, which is close. Fascinating. Oh, they're just going to do that. Unblockable Ginger Brute. Okay, well, we didn't find the answers there, folks, but you can see the deck is powerful when it gets going. Let's see, was the answer anywhere? Oh man, so many cards until we find the answer. Oh my god. We didn't like take them out. I know we didn't take them. Wow. Okay, so there's Echoing Truth, Fatal Push, all the way down at the bottom of the deck. Oh, I'm in the way. You gotta see him over there. But okay, that's a round 1 loss. But again, the deck is there. We just have to be able to push through. So let's go ahead and try again in round 2. All right, here we are in round 2 against Dad X. We won a die roll, however, our opening 7 has no lands, so we gotta throw that one back. This doesn't do anything, throw it back. Oh boy, so we have to keep this at this point. We'll put back Watery Grave, we'll put back one of the Mishra's Factories. So this can also happen with this deck. You can just have dead opening hands, but luckily for us, we at least have something to do. Our opponent kept 7, Brutality. Look at us, we're Death Shadow. All right, what do you do? Oh, okay, so this is the Murktide deck. So we'll take Dragon Rage Channeler, and now they just kind of get to go off. So there's their Splire buff, Mishra's Booble. All right, take a look at our top card. Hopefully it's an Ninja and it confuses the daylights out of them. All right, and it looks like they're holding up Consider for their turn. Another Fatal Push. We'll play out the Factory, start hitting things, and if we find a Moon Circuit Hacker, we can even pick it up as an attacker. There's Consider, we knew about that. Thing is, right about now, our opponent doesn't know what we're doing, so if we just sit here and draw dead and they get a board state that they can really, punish us with, we can scoop and you know, we know what they're doing. They don't know what we're doing, though. Fallen Shinobi. Well, that might do something eventually. In the meantime, we'll just try and start hitting them. And again, this is why this ninja deck, you know, I'm not saying, oh, is it like hidden in the meta? Get rid of the thing. Oh, man. You know, because it really is highly dependent on a good opening 7, which it's not guaranteed. And it's also dependent on your opponent not interacting with your early creatures with easy removal, which there is a lot of in Modern, because then it just sits here and does nothing. But sometimes that's, you know, what these kind of off-the-wall decks do. All right, there's Darcy. They're not going to do anything. Well, let's do this now to bait the counter spell out of their hand. Yep, there's one counter. In fact, we don't know anything in their hand anymore, now that I think about it. Also, the other problem is that our opponent's deck, with things like Murktide and Ragavan, can just, out of nowhere, pull off this really cool stuff, whereas we really don't do anything immediately. We have to, you know, play out a small creature to then ninjutsu in a bigger creature, whereas they can just play a big creature, just start dashing Ragavans. In fact, this looks like a Murktide now. Yep, there's Murktide. So we'll go ahead and crack. Let's get another Watery Grave. Make it still look like we're trying to be shadowy. Okay, now this might look like an early scoop, but I'm doing this to be strategic. They don't know what we are, and we're clearly not coming back from this board state. So all they saw were a couple of lands and some fatal pushes. They don't know anything else. So against Murktide, Spell Pierces might be nice. Nile's Spell Bombs might be nice. I think Cling to Dust doesn't do enough to be helpful. Take out a Fallen Shinobi. Take out the Ninjas of the Deep Hours. The interaction is great. We really don't want to take much more out of our kind of system here. So do we just nip a Spell Pierce, do 2 Spell Pierce, 2 Nile Spell Bomb? Echoing Truth isn't even the worst against the big stuff, but against like Ragavan and Darcy, it's terrible. I think we just nip a Spell Pierce. We try it like that. So we get to go first. So we don't have a Ninja, but we have a Fairy Seer. So we'll keep this. First turn Inquisition, second turn Fairy Seer, probably. Do we want a Watery Grave in case we draw a second blue source? Probably. See what they got going on. Ragavans, so many counter spells. Dragon Rage Channeler. So Ragavan, if it starts hitting us, is really bad news. But we have things that can block Ragavan. Darcy, on the other hand, I think lets them set up a little bit too much. So we'll take Darcy. We'll let them play Ragavan. Because also, like, if they exile the bigger ninjas off the top of our deck, they don't do anything for them. So there's the Steam Vent. Here comes Ragavan. And now the rest of their hand is literally just counter spells. So blue source, Drown in the Lock. You know what? I'll take it. We're going to go ahead and do this now while they're tapped out. And now their hand is just counter spells, which is annoying because that means they're going to counter everything we do forever. But hopefully we can get down Fairy Seer. If we get another blue source, we don't. So we play out Swamp, and they'll probably counter this just to counter this. Yeah. But we do have Mishra's Factory now, which can just hit them if they're just going to sit there and, you know, counterspell us to death. So we really are just kind of hoping that Scalding Turns in the bin, and they played 1 counterspell. They got 2 more. We really do hope that they just draw dead here. Drown in the Lock. Not super helpful, but I guess we can hit them first. Yeah, Drown in the Lock is not great against Murktide. I mean, I guess we got to bleed out the counterspells somehow. Yeah, because against Murktide, they get to exile their yard and make what would have countered it not counter it. So they take out the Mishra's Factory. They have an Unknown and a counterspell. We have 2 Slither Blades. Looks like they'll just pass. Playing the land's not great. Urborg. Well, we have all the black mana we could ever want. So let's go ahead and have this countered. Oh no, they don't care. Okay, well, next turn if they just play out Murktide, we're a little unfortunate. I am a mighty wizard. Okay, so Murktide's gonna kill us quick, but we have no more games to scoop. And there's Fallen Shinobi, which might even do something, but we need to find 1 more land. So here is the deck just sitting there, not doing much. Nope. Drawing a card. I don't see why you're bothering, buddy. You have a really dominant board space right now. So that's gonna hit us a few times, and unless they somehow get 7 things in their graveyard, you know, Drown in the Lock is not going to kill it. Dark Slick Shores. Oh, no. Okay, so like I said, we're playing our own game. And you know what? I'm going to declare it a win, whether or not Mitko does, if I hit him with Fallen Shinobi. I'm the one recording this game. I'm the one making the rules. I've decided that's what I'm doing. Please don't find a way to... You know what? Just out of spite. Take that. He said knowing full well there's 1 more counterspell in his hand. Oh, did they play the third counterspell? Oh no, they've just decided it's not worth it. How rude. I guess they're leaving up the counterspell because they're like, well, if he finds anything, I can just counter it. Because they actually haven't seen the ninjas yet. We've gone 2 games now, and this is the first ninja they're going to see. All right, come on. Get in, losers. We're fallen shinobiing our opponent. I don't suppose you have an Emrakul I can steal. All right. Is there anything that can possibly save us here? A Spell Pierce and a Flooded Strand. Well, you know, let's play it to play it. Look at me, I stole your Flooded Strand. Oh boy. Okay, well, unless they accidentally yield through this turn, we're done. Yeah, no, Murktide big. Yeah. It's not small. No. Okay, so that's a quick 0-2, just showing you what the deck can do when it doesn't behave. Were we anywhere near coming back? Not really. I guess we could have blocked with Fairies here, but they had the counterspell. It's fine. All right, well, here we go into round 3. No wins yet, but hopefully we can do something really cool. All right, Tuesday the 3rd. Welcome, and we have won the die roll. No little creature, Inquisition, and a Mishra's Factory. So we would have to either find another land. I think this is too slow. We're gonna try and find something better. This is actually better. So we'll put the Watery Grave back. Because we have our Fairy Seer, we have our Slitherblade, we have our Ninja. So this is the whole engine of the deck. All the interaction bits, hopefully we can draw into. All right, so we definitely want to do Watery Graves to start. So we'll go ahead and crack that. Pick up a Watery Grave. And now we get to see the top 2 cards of our deck. Swamp, definitely don't want that. And an Inquisition. We're not playing that next turn, because next turn we're just ninja-ing. So I guess that goes... Well, they kept a 5-lander. Well, no, we're definitely ninja-ing next turn, so that goes to the bottom too. Steam Vent, Serum Vision. So that could be a million different things. I mean, this could just be Murktide again, you know? And whether or not I leave the game in is if it's an entertaining game or not. Changeling Outcast is better than Inquisition, I'll tell you that much. So Bloodstained Mire, swing with Fairy Seer, blue, and then we'll go get a Swamp. Aha, we've done our ninja trick. And we drew a Thoughtseize, a card we actively put to the bottom of our deck just a moment ago. So if they dash in a Ragavan, that's not great. If they play just Dragon Rage Channeler and do a whole bunch of stuff, that's also not great. If they just play Land Go, that's probably fine. They're not doing anything right now. They're probably wondering who this absolute all-star legend is who's playing ninjas in a Modern League, turning 100 play points into 0 play points. Hollowed Fountain, no, so it's some kind of Jeskai control-y kind of thing. So looks like they're just holding up Counterspell, which is fine. Ooh, because we drew an Inquisition. So we'll do this. We'll get another Watery Grave, because if we're up against control, our life total doesn't matter. And we'll go ahead and swing with the Ingenious Infiltrator. Let's see if they let us draw a card. They do. Fatal Push, probably a dead card, but we'll start with the Inquisition. Here comes a Counterspell. Oh, it's Reanimator. But I didn't see any... Oh, it's just Phoenix? Sure, mate. Demolich. Oh, boy. So there goes Metamorphose. And I think it's worth it to get rid of Consider, too. Oh, we can get rid of Demolich. I don't think that actually matters. So we'll get rid of Consider. And then I guess we play... So either we can play Fairy Seer and maneuver the top of our deck, or play Changeling Outcast and next turn draw 2, instead of drawing 1 off of Ingenious. So I think we Fairy Seer and see if we can maneuver our deck. Darkslick Shores, Drown in the Loch. So Darkslick Shores not helping right now. Drown in the Loch, probably helpful. And we pass the turn. All right, looks like they're just passing. So they have an Unknown and a Demolich. Wonder if they're just passing to Faithful Mending at end of turn. So we get to draw a card, Polluted Delta. Well, that allows us to do things. So we go get just an island, because we're actually pretty low on life. Play Changeling Outcast. Probably should have started with Slitherblade. Oh no, we're good. Then play Slither. Okay, so next turn we get to do stuff. We also have a Drown in the Loch still, which can either stop like Demolich from hitting the board, or stop Arc-like Phoenix from killing us. Yeah, here's Faithful Mending again. Oh, they put the Demolich in the bin. Ooh, now there's 2 Art-like Phoenixes. That's not good. Hopefully they try and Metamorphose so we can just drown it and stop their combo. Oh, nope. Our opponent has scooped game 1. Okay, so they're doing graveyard stuff. So these guys, the best cards would be these guys and these guys. Now, Cling to Dust is actually kind of helpful in this matchup because they're trying to get specific things out of their yard. The yard in general isn't, the idea. It's not like bringing in Cling to Dust against Murktide or anything like that. Again, I think we take out our Ninjas of the Deep Hours. I think our hand disruption spells are fine because they need to get rid of those like 1-drop mana things. The Graveyard Hate is probably more important than the Dampening Spheres. They're still kind of important though. If we take out one Fallen Shinobi, now what do we take out? I guess we can nip some Fatal Pushes too, because they actually don't kill things super easy. So we try it like this. And hopefully our hate pieces are enough to kind of unearth them a little bit. Yeah, perfect. If they just start and go to the zoo though, there's not a ton we can go about it, but turn 1 Inquisition, try and nip some of their cards out of their hands so they can't like turn 2, put a whole bunch of stuff into play is helpful. Gut Shot, Faithless Salvage, Faithless Salvage. Do I care about Gut Shot? I think I care about them drawing cards. They can Gut Shot my little guys. I mean, that's totally fine. All right, our opponent plays Spire Bluff and passes. Faithless Salvage is an instant? Yeah, so that's probably what they're planning on doing. So we play out our land. We play out a Changing Outcast that they're more than welcome to kill with Gut Shot. And then we play out the Spell Bomb, which will hopefully stop them from going crazy. Yep, that's fine. Discarded the Islet. And now they get to do that again on their upkeep, which is, again, fine. Okay, so they have a Misty, a Gut Shot, and 3 unknowns. This looks like a prismatic ending? Yeah. So we have to do this now, unfortunately. Rid of some of the things from their yard. Yeah, they just Gut Shot now. They just paid for the Gut Shot. It's fine. There's the Misty. So they have 2 unknowns in hand, but we have a grip full of ninjas. If we draw a land, that'd be the best. Another Nile Spellbomb. You know what? That's not bad either. So we play out that. We play out the Spellbomb. And now we're in a spot where they really can't surprise us, I don't think. I guess they could still kind of Demolish because they could do it where we never get priority, but if we're paying attention, they shouldn't be able to surprise us that much by it. Now, you guys have seen me drop multiple games because I'm not paying attention when all I'm doing is recording a Magic game. So don't count that out. Looks like they just passed. They probably have either Faithful Mending or more ways to kill Changeling Outcast. So we swing. They didn't block, so we'll Moon Circuit Hacker. I realize they could have Gut Shot, but I'd rather have the ability to replay Changeling Outcast than not. We get to draw. We find a Fairy Seer. Think that might be better than the Changeling Outcast. All right, what's on top of our deck? Dark Slick Shores, Polluted Delta. I think we actually want both of those. So top. Because that means we can start getting some more mana up in here. Okay, they'll probably Faithful Bending now, which is fine. I mean, we're setting up our board. They're sitting there with nothing. Oh, nope, they didn't. I mean, I suppose if they just play out a Demolish, we really don't have much for it until they put a 4th card in the bin for Drown the Lock to get it. But if they have to use a fetch to play it, we just kill it next turn and then swing with our creatures. Opponent must have multiple things in their hand because we're not seeing anything happening right now. They've just kind of been sitting here. Okay, looks like they're passing, which is good for us. They probably have removal in their hand then. There's the Dark Slick we knew about. So we'll swing. Now, I think we do Ingenious. That means we get to draw 2, discard 1. Oh, or not. Or we just get to draw 1, discard 1. So we find the land. I think we get rid of Changeling Outcast. We don't have anything else going on right now, so let's replay Fairy Seer. Slitherblade Island. I don't think we need the island. I think Slitherblade is fine if they're going to keep killing our creatures like this. Oh, this just looks like hard casting Demolish, which is fine. Yeah, it's a 4-drop, and we just get to kill that with Drown in the Lock. So too easy. We have enough color. We can just do a swamp. And then just Bibbidi. So that gets rid of that. How does this work, by the way? You may cast Demolish from your game by exiling the spell cast for each instant you've cast this turn. So we have to stop it on the 4th spell. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and pick up Fairy Seer again. And maybe this time we actually get to draw 3, discard 1. Another Drown in the Lock, which is great. Fallen Shinobi, which can probably end the game. And Inquisition, which we will not be playing. All right. So we just have to pay attention to what our opponent's doing here. Because whenever they cast the 4th spell, at instant speed, we need to Nile Spellbomb them. Manamorphose. So that's 1. Consider that's 2. Thought Scour, that's 3. And now we blow this up. So there goes their Lich. So what they should have done is after Manamorphosing casting it, but I had the strangest feeling that they were going to kind of go more than that. This is a ending. It looks like prismatic ending on... Yeah, that's fine. Urborg. Okay, so play Urborg, which does help their endings, but we are going to ka-chunk them at the moment. So we're going to attack with Ingenious Infiltrator. Now, a smart person wouldn't do what I'm about to do, but I am doing this for the memes, as it were. Okay, so all of this, do this. Hopefully I can steal your spells that are better than mine. Oh! And we pick up a win, round 3 against Phoenix. My, how the mighty have fallen. I remember when Phoenix was the best deck in Modern, and then they banned Faithless Looting. Rip, folks. All right, so that's our first win. Haven't done anything particularly exciting with Fallen Shinobi yet, but hey, we still got 2 more. All right, here we are in round 4 against Einstein 99998, because I guess all the other ones were taken. We've won the die roll. Hip, hip, hooray. And we have no lands in our opening 7. Going to the next one. No small creatures in our 6. Going again. Well, there we have it. So we got to put 2 back. So they have a Luris, so this could be against Grixis. So we'll put Urborg back, and we'll give up on Thoughtseize. I think Inquisition will be better against things that are playing Luris, obviously. So let's see. Play this. Play Changeling Outcast. Trying to ignore the fact that we almost skipped through our opening tour on a game we're recording and pass to our opponent. Opponent plays Mishra's Bauble, so it is just Grixis. Inquisition, so they can either take our Moon Circuit Hacker, correct answer, or Inquisition, incorrect answer. There goes our Moon Circuit Hacker. Fatal Push, that's actually good to have against this guy. But we are just going to take a peek at their hand and hopefully take out something unfortunate. So Fatal Push, Drown the Lock. So they have a purely reactive hand. I guess we take the Drown. They don't have any threats right now. I guess eventually they can get Luris, but we'll just keep poking them. I mean, there's no saving the Changeling Outcast at this point. This is also not the deck you want to mulligan against that much. It also shows that us playing our... same art? Yeah. Us playing our Changeling Outcast turn 1 didn't really change anything, because they would have still had Thoughtseize in their hand. So at least this way we got rid of a Drown. They'll go get some sort of blue-red source, so... Oh, no. They just got a Blood Crypt. Yep, there goes our little guy. I don't know what they're so worried about. Fallen Shinobi. All right. So here's where we probably lose, folks, because our hand is now empty. Their hand is not empty, and they have Luris in the Exile Zone, which can now go into their hand because we're not really showing any sort of threat right now. Best thing we could do at this point is find a small creature to Fallen Shinobi them, because they just put Luris into hand. So we really need to find a small creature. That's not a small creature. Okay. So this game's probably over. You know, if they get more than one threat, we'll scoop. But right now, just Luris is not, you know, the worst thing. So there's Luris. They really don't have... Oh, they have the Bauble, though, so they get to draw multiple cards a turn. How dare they draw multiple cards a turn? That's our plan. So let's go ahead and just scoop that up. Yeah, I wasn't going to find anything anytime soon. All right, against Grixis. Here's the funny thing. Putting a Chalice on 1 stops Grixis. It also kneecaps us. So I don't think that's the answer. Echoing Truth, I think, is good. Normally popping something in their hand is enough. Their graveyards are also kind of annoying. I think it might be Cling over Spellbomb, though. So let's take out 1 Shinobi, even though that hurts. Let's take out... I think we can even nip 2 Thoughtseizes, because they're going to play their hand out very quick. So then that only leaves one last thing to nip to do that. And if we leave the Spellbombs alone, we can have our own Cling to Dusts, which should be able to nip the things we're worried about in the graveyard. Just try it like this. So you can win against Grixis Shadow with this Ninja deck, but it does require a very good opening hand. This is an okay opening hand. We'll go ahead and keep this. So obviously, we want to first turn Polluted Delta, go get a Watery Grave, and then we want to play out Slitherblade. Now, if they play any sort of 1-drop creature, we get to kill it, and we get to Moon Circuit Hacker, which is great. It does look like this is going to be a Dragon Rage Channeler. Oh no, it's an Inquisition. So that probably goes our Moon Circuit Hacker again. Yep. All right, we need to draw a ninja off the top. We find another land. Boo, hiss. Okay, well, let's just start poking them. We got nothing better to do. I mean, we can take care of all of their threats with Fatal Pushes, but if they just have a hand disruption, then we pretty much lose. And Ninja. Oh my god. Drawing land after land after land will kill us, straight up. We're going to go ahead and leave Flooded Strand there, even though we know for a fact they don't have any creature spells in their deck that are more than 2. Drown that. Okay, sure. This is where you can really see the power of the Grixis deck. It's just full of threats and answers, and really only folds to things like Burn, or things that can go turn 1 Chalice of the Void, which we cannot do. All right, now we'll go ahead and crack this. Watergrave tapped, because we are just looking for something to do. I mean, I'm willing to bet they have removal, but I'm not doing anything. And if we just sit here and wait for them to draw things, we're going to die anyway. So here's my ninja. Please, in the comments, guess now how the ninja's going to die. Because I'll eat my hat if that thing gets to draw cards. Yep. Unholy Heat? Unholy Heat. All right. So, I mean, they have a million answers to threats, and we have 2 answers to threats and another land in our deck. Expressive Iteration, boy, how I miss you. Expressive Iteration last week when we were playing a real deck, boy, were you a good card. But right now, we are getting stomped pretty hard. A Shadow, okay, well, they're gonna have to know that that's going to die. Echoing Truth. I'm still gonna kill the Shadow now, because I don't want to try and get fancy with Echoing Truth and then have my spell countered by Drown in the Loch. This might be a Croxa. Looks like they're winding up for a Croxa. Just getting a Swamp, not looking to deal that much damage to themselves, it seems. Ooh, a dashed Ragavan. Well, you know I'm going to try and kill that opponent. I'm going to try, if only to get that Drown in the Loch out of your hand. Knew it. All right, so it's totally fine. We can get hit. Chances are they're not going to find anything that helps them anyway, because even we need to draw multiple cards before we do anything. Polluted Delta. Okay, I would happily accept 2 damage to not draw Polluted Delta. All right, please no land. Please. Please, deck. Another Echoing Truth. Well, I guess we get to annoy Ragavan. Here comes Ragavan. All right, I bet you weren't expecting this. Looking at our top card, that seems to be them deciding if they want to bother to steal it or not. So rude. Okay, is it not worth countering? Oh, I guess they want it, so we'll pay the 3? I mean, I feel like this is 5D chessing us, but gotta get the counter. Oh, a Spell Pierce. I guess this is them saying we really aren't doing anything. You know, they're just going to kill us with a Ragavan. So what's on top of our deck that they wanted? A Changeling Outcast. That wasn't going to do anything, opponent. All right. So they get to draw another card. We get a Fairy Seer. So I would like my Changeling Outcast back. Aha. You drew us a card, opponent. Little did you know that playing our stolen card would mean I would have a second Echoing Truth in my hand and allow me to draw it. Ah. Drown in the Loch, brutal. Well, here's the problem. They have Ragavan, we have a Changeling Outcast. So outside of us top decking the we can't attack game. Oh, we still have a thing on our end step from playing Pauper. Okay, so here's Ragavan again. Just coming in hot. Please don't find the Fallen Shinobi. Moon Hacker. We actually kind of wanted that. They should actually play that. Yeah, that is a good card in this particular setting right now. So there goes Ragavan back to hand. We draw a Fatal Push. Probably better if they draw off of our deck than their deck. So we'll attack and see if we bait out any sort of kill spell here. So we'll try and kill the Moon Circuit Hacker, because I feel like drawing off of our deck with Ragavan is less good than them drawing off of their deck, which, you know, has like Shadows and Croxas. Yep, Ragavan again, nothing I can do about it. We're still just looking for our Fallen Shinobi to try and do something here. What do they find? Watery Grave. I'm very happy I didn't draw that. Putting Luris to hand. They could just play Luris. Yeah, that's fine. That still means Fallen Shinobi is our absolute best draw. Ooh, please. Okay, deck. One time for me. Draw the Fallen Shinobi so that we can kill this guy. Come on. Just one time off the top. If we get Fallen Shinobi, we'll be able to steal the game. Don't you know how awesome that would be? Come on, you know it's there. Give it to me. Let our opponent see their doom for Slitherblade. That is not what we're looking for. Okay, well, we might as well attack because this thing can't block. Okay, so they can dash Ragavan. It's not even worth killing Ragavan because they can just replay it with Luris. Is there any reason why we would want Slitherblade to be alive right now? I can't think of one, so we're going to block Luris so we don't get bolted out of the game. Okay, and now here's where we draw Fallen Shinobi and feel really sad because we can't win with it anymore. Come on, deck. We got one more shot, one more opportunity to find Fallen Shinobi and then kill them with their own bolts. That is not that. We have lost this game. All right, so that's another L. Let's see. Swamp, Ingenious Infiltrator. Was Fallen Shinobi anywhere in the top million? Looking like a no. Oh, yep, no, there he was, all the way at the bottom. Would have been a while. Okay, so 1 and 3. We kind of saw that coming, but we got one more. Maybe we can go 2 and 3. That'd be fun. But so far, I hope you guys have seen how fun this deck can be. So we got one more round. Fingers crossed we're in the beer league, and we get to do something fun. Play against another fun deck. See you there. All right, folks, here we are, round 5, winning the die roll. The 2 Fallen Shinobis might be a bit much, but I'm hoping the Fairy Seer gets us out of this. So we'll go ahead and keep. Play Polluted Delta. Just go get a basic island because we have plenty of black mana. And Fairy Seer. We can find a 2-mana ninja, that'd be great. Flooded Strand Swamp, well, we want neither of those. So bottom. We can still find a ninja on our draw step. See what our opponent does here. Dragon Johns. Flooded, or Wooded Foothills. Into Steam Vent. We're playing against a lot of Steam Vents today. What do we have? Looks like, oh, is this that, like, Crack the Earth deck? I haven't played against that yet. Well, the good news is we get to find out. So, Dark Slick Shores into Thoughtseize. Oh, it's a Cascade deck. Charm, Fire, Ice, Shardless. So, fortunately, I think we have to take Shardless Agent, because that's how they win. We'll play Slither Blade, and hopefully they won't have time to steal it. What happened here? Why are there so many cards? Oh, because it made Fire, Ice 2 cards. 1, 2... Oh, yeah. Okay, so Petty Theft can go away, too. Okay, so that's the actual hand we looked at. Yeah, Miko does this thing where all the modal spells show up as different cards in the revealed card area, which is not... Like, because if I look at Brazen Bar, it still shows Petty Theft, and if I look at Fire Ice, it still shows Fire and Ice. All right, so they're showing the Soaring City. There goes our guy, which is fine. So there goes Fire and Ice. So their hand is 1 unknown and some cool things. If we could find something... Not a land. Drown in the Lock. Drown in the Lock works, because that is an alive counter right now. Although, it very much is, they do their thing, they win the game, we do our thing, we have a silly ninja. So, we now would like to get... Ooh, that's not bad. We have the Changeling Outcast, because that means on our next draw, we want to find a Moon Circuit Hacker. And then off the Moon Circuit Hacker, if we could draw a land, and then from there, we'll get the band back together, if I am... talking nonsense, because that is a magical Christmas land. All right, down to 14. What do they do? Archmage Charm. Target player draws 2 cards. You know what? I'm gonna prefer if you stayed at the number of cards in your hand. I mean, if we draw a land, we get to Fallen Shinobi them, and that's the whole point of making this video, is to try and do cool things with Fallen Shinobi. Really, opponent? No fun squad. Oh man, now we have to draw something. Fatal Push. That's not gonna do much. That'll kill one of the rhinos that's going to punch us in the face pretty soon, but, you know. So they have a Brazen Borrower and an Unknown. Come on. Inquisition, sure. So they flash out Brazen Borrower now? Yep. And we need to find a fetch to kill that with a Fatal Push. It's literally just a Steam Vent in their hands. So they have nothing. We are, you know, we have all of our finishers and none of the enablers. And they're going to start nugging us for 3 each turn. There's that Steam Vent. So now... I have to assume they're just drawing lands if they don't do anything, because if they could have done something, they would have. You know, we're sitting here, unless they're trying to play around to Drown in the Lock, which I don't think so. So there's Polluted Delta. Well, yeah, let's do this now. If they have a counterspell, they have a counterspell. So that's a new. And then we Fatal Push. All right, so we are now making faces across the river at each other. But really, at any time, they can play a Shardless Agent and just win the game. Drown in the Lock. Okay, well now we actually have to pay attention because we have to try and counter their stuff. Boy, do I wish any of my enablers had lived. Changeling Outcast, speaking of. Okay, does it live? The question is, do we try and save it if they try and kill it? Target player draws 2 cards. I still think I don't want you to do that. I would still prefer if you had the no cards in your hand. Ugh. Well, that's not good. Well, they have 4 cards now, so I'm expecting rhinos. Yep, here comes the Shardless. Fury? Come on, opponent. Why am I not allowed to hit you with Fallen Shinobi? What are you so afraid of? Have you even seen ninjas yet? Do you know that's what we're doing? How could you possibly be afraid of Fallen Shinobis? Okay, well here's Moon Circuit Hacker. If you attack with Fury, we hit you with Fallen Shinobi. Or you have another removal spell. Man, what's it like? What's it like to top deck everything you need to be the fun police? All right, So we get hit for 6. And now we're in a spot where we need to start chumping. They finally got a Shardless and just end the game. Oh, no, they just have a million Archmage's Charms. Just casting divinations, refilling their hand. Mishra's Factory. Well, unfortunately, now we just cast these things. Not the fun way, but just in the chump blocker way. So that Fury can't kill us. I anticipate them catching some sort of Fire, Ice, or Bolt, so Fury still kills our guy. Or maybe they just have another Fury, which for some reason deals 4 damage. So that's all for us, folks. Again, you've heard me say it, play Modern Horizon 2 cards. Don't play the decks you see me play. All right, so Chalice of the Void to stop whatever that Cascade nonsense is. Maybe even Dampening Spheres. I think that's about it. So, nip the Ninjas of the Deep Hours again. That all looks great. Fatal Push is only kind of okay. So if we nip 2 Fatal Pushes, because they're only kind of okay, we even get to put a Ninja back. And we get to try it like that. Yeah, seems great. Seems exactly what we want. Now, again, they are running the Elementals, though, so they could just evoke things and kill our creatures. And again, like, against a deck like theirs, which is like Money Pile for all intents and purposes. I'm sure it has a different name. I'm just going to call it Money Pile. It's fine, but, you know, we really need to have pretty godly openers to give them a fright. So here's Fairy Seer. What do we have on top of our deck? Fairy Seer, Dark Slick Shores. The mana is probably fine. Top, cast for 0. Okay, so now they can cascade as much as they want. So their Shardless Agents are now just 3 mana 2/2s, which is a really good Magic card if it's 1994. All right, how are you going to kill a Fairy Seer with just, okay, Crashing Footfalls? So they clearly plan on finding a way of dealing with Crashing Footfalls by the time that happens. Yep, 2, hurt me. Attack with Fairy Seer. We get to draw our mana, which we know is up top, which probably means we should have done that the other way and saved us 2 damage, but again, I am a bad Magic the Gathering player, and our opponent keeps ticking down the Suspend card. So they must have a Force of Vigor or some way of getting rid of Chalice. Bringing in Force of Vigor against Ninjas, though, that's a little sus. Yep, there goes the evoked thing. Are they just going to... Oh no, they're actually going to let it die. Okay, that's fine. I expected, like, Dress Down or something. Inquisition. Okay, so first thing we do is see what's on top of our deck. Inquisition, Dark Slick. Dark Slick bottom. Yeah, we need ninjas. Bottom. Now we Inquisition our opponent. Shardless Agent, which does nothing. Prismari Command, which does everything. Oh, they have Beseiju. That's how they're gonna do it. Okay, so I guess we get rid of Shardless Agent then, because they're gonna get to do it. So that means when is this coming down? Still a couple more turns on that, so they don't have to Beseiju now. They might just Beseiju now. I guess we do this and try and find another Chalice. Changeling Outcast, no. Moon Circuit Hacker, yes. All right, and then next turn we get to Moon Circuit Hacker and hopefully find an answer. Chalice will die on our end step or on our second main. Oh, or to live 1 more turn. Surprising. Hey, Prismari Command doesn't kill. Oh, it does destroy target artifact. Sure. So they have many ways of destroying artifacts. I mean, at least those make sense. Because, like, Beseiju is a free card, and Prismari Command, you know, it does things. You know, normally I would assume it was just dealing 2 damage and making a treasure or something, but Prismari Command is a good card. So, kills one of our things, kills the Chalice. So now we really do just need to find it off the top. So, just go to combat, swing with Fairy Seer, see what we find. Please be the second Chalice. Please? Aw. Guess play the Factory, and then play out Fairy Seer. See if we can find it now. Nope, Slither Blades to the bottom. And just play out the Changeling Outcast. Is that coming down now? Oh, nope, we get 1 more turn, I think. Yeah. 1 more turn to try and find the answer. Oh, but they had they top decked a Shardless, which means they're going to get Rhinos anyway. The good news is 2 of our creatures have evasion. So if we can find Fallen Shinobi off the top, that's probably our best bet. Misty Rainforest is not a Fallen Shinobi. Believe it or not. I know that's hard to believe. So Misty Rainforest, just swing with our 2 little dudes. Every point of damage counts. They're going to have so many Rhinos, though, and we didn't bring an Echoing Truth. So we're pretty dead pretty fast. And they kept the Beseiju in their hand, too. So if we find another one, they could just do that. Well, do I have a surprise for you, opponent? I get to eat your Shardless Agent. Is there a world where Moon Circuit Hacker does anything other than save us a life? No, it just saves us a life. And bro, learned that trick in 1995 or 6 to tap Mishra's Factory, make it a 33. Please Beseiju it. I'm begging you, Besage it. It would make me so happy if you Besage the Mishra's Factory. All right, we're down to 8, so we're super dead. So what even saves us at this point? Thoughtseize 1000% does not save us. But we can look at our opponent's hand before we scoop up this league. Come on, don't counter it, opponent. We're just dead. We're just seeing what's in your hand before we scoop here. Really? Gain control? Yeah, sure. What makes you think I'm going to do anything empty-handed here? The Brazen Bar. Yeah, so we die. Neat. All right, so a slightly less electric, modern ninja showing. But let's go ahead and go back to the wrap-up, and we'll see what happens, see what we can do to maybe improve this deck, see if we'll play it again. But yeah, talk to you in a second. Yeah. Whoa, what happened to all the settings? Why do I look so much different? What happened here? It's almost like somehow my outro got destroyed, and when I was sitting down to try and stitch this together in editing, I had to sit down and re-record it. So what happened? Well, luckily for me, I take some notes when I do these, so I can tell you we lost against Hardened Steel, lost against Tron, won against Phoenix, lost against Murstide, and lost against Cascade. So what happened here? You know, because this deck, it looks like it has a plan. It's like, okay, boom, Enabler, boom, Ninja, boom, Finisher. The problem is that requires a lot of things to be on the board and stay on the board. And the modern meta between Dragon Rage Channeler, Ragavan, Esper Sentinel, the format in general is designed to get things off the board early, because if you ignore those, the game really does snowball away from you. And I think that's actively working against this list. I also think it's just not the most competitive list on the planet. You know, you're out here trying to ninjutsu in creatures. There's a reason why you don't see other people playing this. That being said, if any of you have a better ninja list that you would like me to look at, feel free to put it down in the comments. I'll, of course, look at it. 8 people comment on these things, so I tend to read them all. That being said, thank you guys for coming along for the ride. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Lets me know that people are watching and gives me a reason to keep making more. If you like what you see, why don't you stick around? If you don't like it, sorry. This is the best I can do. All right, guys. Next week, have no idea what I'm up to. Generally, I record these on a Thursday, and then they come out the Saturday after. So now I'll do some editing, and then I'll try and figure out what I want to play, do some play testing, and see you guys there. Hope you guys come back for whatever it is I decide to throw up on the net next and lose 100 play. Catch you guys next time.